Okay, class, good afternoon. Uh, in today's class, you'll be able to compute the missing sides of a right triangle using trig ratios and angle values using TI-84 or Desmos calculator. Okay, so let me start. Let me give an example. Already in my previous class, I discussed with you all that in case, first of all, let me talk about the applications. Let's say that there is a multi-story building, okay, and you don't know what is the height of the building. You don't know what is the height of the building, right? But you would like to know what is the height of the building. In real world scenarios, who knows, you may become as a firefighter, you may become as an architect, and so on. Suppose if you want to find what is the height of the building means, let's say that the building is casting a shadow on the ground, and let's assume that you have a device. Using that device, you can find what is the angle. What is the angle between the horizontal line and the slanting line? Let's say that this is some 72 degrees. Just I'm taking some number randomly. It is 72 degrees. Okay. Let me label the parts. The building is height of the building is AB and length of the shadow is BC. On the ground, I'm sure if you're given a measuring tape, you can measure what is the length of the horizontal line. Okay, let's say that this is some 82 feet. 82 feet. Okay, now let's read the question again. There is a building. There is a building whose height is AB and length of the shadow is 82 feet, and you are asked to find what is the height of the building. So first of all, we have to identify what is known and what is to be computed. Okay, what is to be computed. So here you are asked to find what is the height of the building, right? And 72 is the reference angle, and the building is perpendicular. That means the angle between the ground and the building, it is 90 degrees. It is 90 degrees. Now it is forming a right angle triangle. Now in this question, I have to figure out what is the height of the building. I see that this is the opposite side. This is the opposite side, right? This is the opposite side. And next, 82 feet, that is the length of the shadow. Please remember, guys, please remember here what 82 feet is. Is it hypotenuse? The answer is no. You know that the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. The side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. In this question, hypotenuse is not required for us. So the third side must be the adjacent side. This one is adjacent side. Now, let's think of Sokatova. Let's think of Sokatova. So, let me write the spelling SOH, then CAHTOA, Sokatova. Okay, here which trig ratio I have to take in order to find the height of the building? So I have to let me highlight the first letters. It is opposite and adjacent. So OA. Do I have OA here? The answer is no. Do I have O and A here? The answer is no. O and A, yes it is. Therefore, I have to go with this TOA. So TOA, I hope you remember that the T stand for here tan theta. It is tan theta, right? Therefore, tan What's the angle? Here it is given as 72 degrees. O stands for it is opposite side to 72 degrees over adjacent side to 72 degrees, right? So what is tan 72 means? If you have a TI-84 calculator, then you can type on that what is tan 72. If not, let's go to already explained in my previous class that you have to go to Desmos. If you don't know how to get to Desmos, so just I'm opening Google, then Desmos, type Desmos, enter, then you click this one, you'll get the graphing calculator. Okay, then let me check. Yeah, tan 72, I have to compute tan 72. So just you type tan using your keyboard space, then 72 degrees. Okay, but we are dealing with degrees, so please don't forget, by default the Desmos gives you the answer in radians. So I'm going to the right top, you see that graph settings, you click there, and by default you can see that radians, these are highlighted. Please move to the next one and click it, and change it to degrees. Now do you see that the answer is changed to 3.077? After decimal you can take 2 digits or 3 digits, up to you, maybe 4 digits. I personally prefer to take maybe 2 digits are fine, but let me take 3 digits. So 3.077. So the value of tan 72 is equals to 3.077. Let me confirm again, it is 077. Yes, that's enough. If you want, you can take fourth digit also. Now, what is opposite side to 72 degrees means? This is the opposite side to 72 degrees. That is not given. So let me take it as a variable x, and adjacent side to 72. You know what is adjacent side to 72 degrees? Other than hypotenuse, the other side is, that's the adjacent side, and it's given as 82 feet. It's given as 82 feet. At this point, you know how to isolate the value of x. So 82 is dividing, the inverse operation is multiplying 82 on both the sides, the value of x, 82 times 3.0776. So let me use my calculator here. 82 times 3.0776. This is giving me 252.363. I know majority of the times students, they compute the value of the variable and they leave it, but it makes no, it don't make full sense. So what I have to do is, let me describe what x is. Like height of building height of building equals to 252.363. Is it pounds, kilograms, centimeters, miles, kilometers? We have to mention the units. I see that here the shadow is in feet. Therefore, the height of the building also must be in these many feet. Anyhow, you may get doubt, is it possible to have a very tall building with 252 feet? Means maybe possible in some countries, they constructed very tall buildings. Anyhow, this is how we compute to find the missing side. Okay, now, okay. Well, guys, here, if you have any questions, you can email me. So let me go to the next question. Again, if you have any questions, you can email me. The next question is, this is similar to that, but just, no parts are mentioned here. So let me label this one. Let me label this one as like a triangle ABC. You can name it whatever way you like it. First of all, let me identify what is given and what to be computed. What to be computed. So, what is x here? You know, the side opposite to 90 degrees, the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. Therefore, x is representing the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. And here 52 degrees is the reference angle. So AC is indicating that this is the opposite side to theta, or opposite side to the angle AC. So here AC is opposite side. So obviously the leftover or the third side is going to be the adjacent. This is going to be the adjacent side. Okay. By the way, I need not compute what is the value of AC. Therefore, let me delete this part. Now, adjacent is given as 14 units and hypotenuse is to be computed where which trig ratio I have to take in order to compute the value of x. So let me write that SOHCAHTOA, SOH, then CAH, TOA, SOHCAHTOA. So here adjacent side, let me highlight the first letter and hypotenuse. So this is how I have to check adjacent and hypotenuse. Do I have adjacent and hypotenuse in sine? No. Do I have adjacent and hypotenuse in cos? Yes. Right. So let me select this one. So I have to go with the cos. You know, cos, the given angle is here. You see that 52 degrees. Therefore, cos 52 degrees equals to cos equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. SOHCAHTOA. Think of SOHCAHTOA. So it is adjacent side to 52 degrees over hypotenuse. Now, what is the value of cos 52 means? As I told you before, if you have TI-84 calculator, it's fine, or else you can type here cos space 52, then that is giving me 0.6156. Again, it's a reminder, please make sure that it is on degrees, it is not on radians. Okay, therefore 0.6156, 0.6156. 6156. So what is the adjacent side to 52 means? Already I labeled it here. This one as adjacent, that is 14 units. And what is hypotenuse means? That is not known, which is x. Therefore, first of all, let's eliminate the denominator part. You know, x is in the denominator. Therefore, the inverse operation, that is times x on both the sides, times x on both the sides. Then x and x gets cancelled. Then 14 equals to x times 0.6156. Then you know how to isolate x. 0.6156 is multiplying with x. So let me divide 0.6156 here on both the sides, 0.6156. So these two gets cancelled. X values, let me grab my calculator. 14 divided by 0.6156 equals to 22.742. Anyhow, this is not a statement problem. So the value of x we computed, x equals to 22.742. Okay. Then any questions on this? So if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Then another question which is almost similar to the previous one. First of all, let's label the parts. So this is let me name it as triangle ABC. Triangle ABC. You know, 60 angle A is given as 65 degrees. Angle A is given as 65 degrees, and I see that BC. This one represents the opposite side. This one represents the opposite side, right? Let me use a different color, maybe red color. Opposite side. Okay, and AC, this is opposite to 90 degrees, therefore you know that what to call this one. This is called as hypotenuse. This is called as hypotenuse. So the leftover, I'll say that the third side is known as adjacent. This is adjacent. So in this question, you are asked to find x, which is opposite side to the given angle, and 10 is given. This is the adjacent side to the given angle, and there's nothing to do with the hypotenuse. There's nothing to do with the hypotenuse. So let me delete that part. Okay, now you think for a moment, and which trig ratio I have to use. Think of Sokatova, SOH, then CAH, then TOA. Okay, now think for a moment which trig ratio I have to use. Do I have to use sine, cos, or tan? Okay, I see that here I see that opposite, you know, opposite, that is x value, and next adjacent. So opposite and adjacent means I have to check, is it opposite and adjacent both are there in sign? No. And do I have opposite and adjacent in cos? No. Do I have opposite and adjacent in tan? The answer is yes. Right? Thank you for mentioning that it is tan theta. So let's say that tan, and the value is 65 degrees. You can see that, guys, 65 degrees. So tan 65 degrees equals to, let me write it, Sokatova, TOA. Therefore, it is opposite side to 65 degrees over adjacent side to 65 degrees. Now, what is tan 65 means? Let me quickly jump to my Desmos, and it is tan 65 2.144. You can take 3 decimal places or maybe 4 decimal places. So 2.1445. 2 point, let me take, oops, it is 2.1445. After decimal, actually two places of decimal are fine. If you want, you can take 3, you can take 4 too. What is opposite to 65 means? Already we labeled this one as opposite, that gives me x. And what is adjacent means? You can see that it is 10 units. So 10 here. You know how to find the value of x. Let's isolate this one by inverse operation, times 10 on both the sides, so these two gets cancelled. I get the value of x equals to, in fact, when you are multiplying a decimal value by 10, 100, etc., you know what happens. The decimal moves to the right side by one step. Therefore 2.1445 is multiplied by 10, then 21 point, because the decimal moves to right side. Just I'm rounding, so I'm taking 21.44. Just after decimal, only 2 decimal places I'm taking. You can take 4 or 4 5. It's more or less the same kind. Now, any questions? So, if you would like to know which one, whether it is sine, cos, or tan means, we have to check what is given and what is to be computed, what is given and what to be computed. I see that in this diagram, adjacent side and opposite side, these two, please observe carefully that you are asked to find the opposite side value, right? And you know adjacent side, and we need not touch the hypotenuse at all. We need not touch the hypotenuse at all. Therefore, where do you find this adjacent and hypotenuse means? Is it in sine? You know, in sine opposite over hypotenuse, but we are looking opposite and adjacent. Therefore, let me check the second one, that is adjacent and hypotenuse, and the third one is opposite and adjacent. Therefore I have to take TOA. T stands for tangent, and O stands for opposite, and A for adjacent. Okay, this is how we decide which trig ratio we have to take, whether it is sine, cos, or tan. Next question, let me go to the next question. This question is slightly extension of the previous one. He did not specify which one to find. Let's read the question. Solve all the missing sides. All the missing sides. So here, BC is missing. So let me assume that one as X. AB is also missing. So I have to find all the missing sides. And already AC is given as 29.3. And also he's asking to find the missing angle. This I'll explain the missing angle part at the end. So let's identify which is the opposite side, which is the hypotenuse, and so on. The side opposite to 90 degrees, the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. You know that. So let me label this one as hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Okay. And next, angle A is given as 28 degrees. You see that. And this is BC. This is the side opposite to the given angle. Opposite to the given angle. Therefore, BC is going to be the opposite. So once when you identify which is the opposite side to the angle, which is hypotenuse, obviously the third side is going to be the adjacent side. This is the adjacent side. Now, let's focus one at a time, not all at once. So let's do one thing. Let's focus on one part at a time. Let's think of finding what is the value of x. What's the value of x? Okay, so let me draw lines here. Well, so when we are thinking of x, let's not touch the hypotenuse part. Let's not touch the hypotenuse part. Now, please look at this one, which is oops, which is opposite, and let's say that adjacent, opposite and adjacent, right? Now, think for a moment which trig ratio I have to take to find x. I repeat, which trig ratio I have to take for finding x. Is it sine, cos, or tan? By the way, if you want, I'll write SOHCAHTOA. I will write SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAH and TOA. Think for a moment. Well, here opposite and adjacent. So do I have opposite and adjacent in sine? SOH. You know, if you take the first letters, opposite is O, adjacent is A. Do I have O and A in sine? No. So do I have, let me take maybe a little long arrows. Well, oops. So it is opposite and adjacent, right? So I have to think this way. So, oh, it's not 1. Let me put it on 2. Therefore, opposite and adjacent. Do I have opposite and adjacent here? No. Do I have opposite and adjacent here? No. Do I have opposite and adjacent here? The answer is yes. OA. OA, that represents opposite and adjacent. Therefore, I have to take tan. The angle is 28 degrees. So opposite over adjacent, tan ratio. Therefore, opposite side to 28 degrees, adjacent side to 28 degrees. Okay. So here, what is tan 28 means? Let me quickly jump to my Desmos. What is what's the angle? My bad. It is tan 28. So let me type tan space 28. So that gives me 0.5317. 0.5317. So here is 0.5317 equals to, what is the opposite side, means already label it as x, over what is adjacent side. You see that that is 29.3. 29.3. Then you know how to isolate the value of x. So let me take times 29.3 on both the sides, times 29.3. So the value of x is, let me use my calculator, 29.3 times 0.5317. That gives me 15.579. So let me round it to 15.58. 15.58. I'm done to find the value of x. And next, he is asking to find all the sides. Here it is y. Please remember what is y means here. We thought this is the side opposite to 90 degrees. Side opposite to 90 degrees. Therefore, this is known as hypotenuse. This is known as hypotenuse. Let's say that at this point, let me assume that I need not compute the value of x. So just let me delete all these things. Okay. Anyhow, I finished computing the value of x. Now, here you have been given the adjacent side, which is 29.3, and you are asked to find the hypotenuse. You are asked to find the hypotenuse. So, where do you find this adjacent and hypotenuse? Adjacent and hypotenuse. So, here adjacent side is given and hypotenuse. Adjacent and hypotenuse. Where do you find these two? Adjacent and hypotenuse. Do I have in sign? Adjacent means A, hypotenuse is H. So I have to look for A and H. I don't see in sign. Do I have adjacent and hypotenuse in cos? Absolutely yes. Adjacent and hypotenuse. Therefore, I have to take cos theta. So here cos 28 degrees equals to, please remember SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. So A stands for, it is adjacent side, adjacent side. My bad, I don't have enough space, so just I'm trying to write. Now, what is cos 28 means? Quickly jump to the Desmos. It is cos 28. Let me press enter key. Cos 28 degrees, 0.8829. 0.8829. 0.8829. What is the adjacent side? That is 29.3. What is hypotenuse? I don't know. Let it be y. And always try to eliminate the denominator part. So times y times y. So y and y gets cancelled. Then I'll be left with 29.3 equals to y times 0.8829. Now, you know how to isolate y. We divide by the same value 0.8829 on both the sides 0.8829. So the value of y equals to, let me compute on my calculator, which is 29.3 divided by 0.8829. That's giving me 33.186. So let me round it to the nearest hundreds. So 33.19 I'm taking. So that's the value of y. And the last question is find the missing angle. You know, one angle is given as 28 degrees, and this little square represents 90 degrees. Little square represents 90 degrees. All of us know that sum of three angles of a triangle equals to 180 degrees. Sum of three angles of a triangle equals to 180. So angle A plus angle B plus angle C equals to 180. Angle A is 28 degrees. Angle B is not given in the diagram. And angle C, that little square, reminds me that that is 90 degrees. So altogether 180 degrees. So let me combine 28 and 90 degrees. That gives me 118 degrees plus B equals to 180, and let me take away 118 on both these sides so that I'll get the value of angle B. So when I take away 118, that is 62 degrees. That's the value of angle B. Any questions? So I hope you got which trig ratio you have to use in order to find the missing side. By the way, in my previous class, somehow it skipped from my mind. What is angle of to explain the what is angle of elevation, angle of depression. Let's assume that you are standing on a cliff and let me draw a line first. So this is the always we have to make the angle with the horizontal line. Always we have to make the angle with the horizontal line. Okay, so suppose if you are raising your head and if you are looking, you see that you are raising your head and you are looking into the sky in order to watch this aeroplane. Okay, so if you are looking up, we call this one as angle of elevation. Angle of elevation. Just assume that you are on a cliff and you are looking down and you are looking at a ship which is approaching towards the shore. Okay, so if you are looking down, please remember always we make the angle with the horizontal line. Okay, and this slanting line is called as a line of sight. Line of sight. So if you are looking down, so the angle made between the line of sight and the horizontal line is called as angle of depression. Okay, if you are looking up, this is called as the line of sight. Line of sight, and the angle between the horizontal line and the line of sight is known as angle of elevation. Okay, so let's go to a question. Okay, here there's a boy who is flying a kite. Who is flying a kite? I hope you have an idea that what is a kite. Okay, so let me take that a boy is flying a kite, right? Or else let me draw another figure. Maybe say that oh, a boy is flying a kite. Here is the kite. Here is the kite, and a boy is on the ground and he's flying the kite. And oops, this is the length of the string. This is the length of the string. Okay, so here a right angle triangle is formed. A right angle triangle is formed. Okay, then let me label the parts. Say that this is A, this is B, and this one is C. Let's read the question. You are flying a kite overhead. The angle of elevation. Please remember, elevation means if you are looking up, the angle formed. This is called as angle of elevation. This is 65 degrees. Then this is 90 degrees because it is perpendicular. The length of the string used is 75 feet. This is 75 feet. You know, this is the length of the string used. And how high is the kite? How high is the kite? You know, you are asked to find AC. Now let me label the parts. Let me label the parts. So first of all, this is 65 degrees are given. So I know that AC represents the opposite side. AC represents the opposite side, right? Therefore, this is opposite side, opposite side, and next this is opposite side, and I know that the side opposite to 90 degrees is known as hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. This is hypotenuse. You know, I have to compute the opposite side and I have been given the hypotenuse. So where do I find this O and H in my Sokotowa? In my Sokotowa, where do I find? This is what I have to question myself every time. Where do I find this opposite and hypotenuse? Do I find in sine, or is it in cos, or is it in tan? Think for a while. Think for a while. Where do I find this opposite and hypotenuse? Is it sine, cos, or tan? Think for a moment. Yes, you are absolutely right that you have to take the trig ratio, which is sine. So let me take sine 65 degrees equals to, please remember, Sokotowa SOH. Therefore, that is opposite side to 65 degrees over hypotenuse. Therefore, what is sine 65 means? Let me go to my Desmos calculator. So 65 sine 65, let me type sine space 65.9063. So in the place of sine 65, 9063 equals to, what is opposite side to 65 means this is not given in the question, therefore let me assume that x. What is hypotenuse means? From the diagram I see that it is 75 feet. You know how to isolate the value of x? You know, we take times 75 on both the sides. We take 75 and we multiply. So let me use my calculator. 75 times 0.9063 equals to 67 point. I see that 67.97. So let me, yeah, 67.97. This is the value of x. But as I mentioned before, just finding the value of x is not at all sufficient. You have to make the answer a little sensible. So I know that the x represents the height of the kite. Therefore, please do write that height of the kite, height of the kite is 67.97. Always I ask this question, it may sound crazy, like is it 67.97 pounds, kilograms, feet, inches, or kilometers, miles? You know, you have to check carefully that the units are given here as 75 feet string. Therefore, obviously, this one also in terms of feet. Okay, that's it for me for today's class.